Oroonoko by Thomas Southerne. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Tragedy of Oroonoko. Dramatis Personae.
Oroonoko, read by Todd.
Abouin, read by Larry Hayes.
Lieutenant Governor, read by Algie Pug.
Blandford, read by Thomas Peter.
Stanmore, read by Jason in Panama.
Jack Stanmore, read by Kurt.
Captain Driver, read by Roger Moline.
Daniel Lackett, read by Nemo. Hotman, read by Nemo.
Imuinda, read by Sandra Schmidt.
Widow Lackett, read by Leanne Yao.
Charlotte Weldon, read by Beth Thomas.
Lucy Weldon, read by Sonia.
First Planter, read by Melanie T.
Second Planter, read by Nemo.
Third Planter, read by Pa Ezra.
Fourth Planter, read by Thomas Copeland.
Slave, read by Algie Pug.
Singing Slave, sung by Alan Mapstone.
Women Slaves, read by Sonia.
And Eva Davis.
Servant, read by Devorah Allen.
And narrated by Eva Davis. Prologue.
As when in hostile times two neighboring states strive by themselves and their confederates, the war at first is made with awkward skill, and soldiers clumsily each other kill, till time at length their untaught fury tames, and into rules their heedless rage reclaims. Then every science by degree is made subservient to the man-destroying trade. Wit, wisdom, reading, observation, art, a well-turned head to guide a generous heart. So it may prove with our contending stages, if you will kindly but supply their wages, which you with ease may furnish by retrenching your superfluities of wine and wrenching. Who'd grudge to spare from riot and hard drinking, to lay it out on means to mend his thinking? To follow such advice you should have leisure, since what refines your sense refines your pleasure. Women grow tame by use each fool can get, but cuckolds all are made by men of wit. To virgin favors fools have no pretense, for maidenheads were made for men of sense. 'Tis not enough to have a horse well bred, to shew his mettle he must be well fed. Nor is it all in provender and breed, he must be tried and strained to mend his speed. A favored poet, like a pampered horse, will strain his eyeballs out to win the course. Do you but in your wisdoms vote it fit to yield due succors to this war of wit? The buskin with more grace shall tread the stage, love sigh in softer strains, heroes less rage. Satire shall show a triple row of teeth, and comedy shall laugh your fops to death. Wit shall refine, and Pegasus shall foam, and soar in search of ancient Greece and Rome. And since the nations in the conquering fit, as you by arms will vanquish France in wit, the work were over, could our poets write with half the spirit that our soldiers fight.
The scene, Suriname, a colony in the West Indies, at the time of the action of this tragedy, in the possession of the English. Act 1, Scene 1. Enter Weldon following Lucy.
What will this come to? What can it end in? You have persuaded me to leave dear England and dearer London, the place of the world most worth living in, to follow you to a husband hunting into America. I thought husbands grew in these plantations.
Why, so they do, as thick as oranges, ripening one under another. Week after week they drop into some woman's mouth. 'Tis but a little patience, spreading your apron in expectation, and one of 'em will fall into your lap at last.
Ay, so you say indeed.
But you have left dear London, you say. Pray, what have you left in London that was very dear to you, that had not left you before?
Speak for yourself, sister.
Nay, I'll keep you in countenance. The young fellows, you know, the dearest part of the town, and without whom London has been a wilderness to you and me, had forsaken us a great while.
Forsaken us? I don't know that they ever had us.
Forsaken us the worst way, child, that is, did not think us worth having. They neglected us, no longer designed upon us. They were tired of us. Women in London are like the rich silks. They are out of fashion a great while before they wear out.
The devil take the fashion, I say.
You may tumble them over and over at their first coming up, and never disparage their price. But they fall upon wearing immediately, lower and lower in their value, till they come to the broker at last.
Ay. That's the merchant they deal with. The men would have us at their own scandalous rates. Their plenty makes them wanton. And in a little time, I suppose, they won't know what they would have of the women themselves.
Oh, yes, they know what they would have. They would have a woman give the town a pattern of her person and beauty, and not stay in it so long as to have the whole piece worn out. They would have the good face only discovered, and not the folly that commonly goes along with it. They say there is a vast stock of beauty in the nation, but a great part of it lies in unprofitable hands. Therefore, for the good of the public, they would have a draft made once a quarter, send the decaying beauties for breeders into the country, to make room for new faces to appear, to countenance the pleasures of the town.
'Tis very hard. The men must be young as long as they live, and poor women be thought decaying and unfit for the town at 1 or 22. I'm sure we were not 7 years in London.
Not half the time taken notice of, sister. The 2 or 3 last years we could make nothing of it, even in a visored mask. Not in a visored mask, that has cheated many a man into an old acquaintance. Our faces began to be as familiar to the men of intrigue as their duns, and as much avoided. We durst not appear in public places, and were almost grudged a gallery in the churches. Even there they had their jests upon us, and cried, "She's in the right on't, good gentlewoman, since no man considers her body, she does very well indeed to take care of her soul."
Such unmanly fellows there will always be.
Then, you may remember, we were reduced to the last necessity, the necessity of making silly visits to our civil acquaintance, to bring us into tolerable company. Nay, the young Inns of Court beaux, of but one term standing in the fashion, who knew nobody but as they were shown them by the orange woman, had nicknames for us. How often have they laughed out, "There goes my landlady, is she not come to let lodgings yet?"
Young coxcombs that knew no better.
And that we must have come to. For your part, what trade could you set up in? You would never arrive at the trust and credit of a guinea board. You would have too much business of your own, ever to mind other people's.
That is true indeed.
Then, as a certain sign that there was nothing more to be hoped for, the maids at the chocolate houses found us out and laughed at us. Our billets doux lay there neglected for waste paper. We were cried down so low we could not pass upon the city, and became so notorious, in our galloping way, from one end of the town to the other, that at last we could hardly compass a competent change of petticoats to disguise us to the hackney coachman, and then it was near walking afoot indeed.
Nay, that I began to be afraid of.
To prevent which, with what youth and beauty was left, some experience, and the small remainder of 1,500 pounds apiece, which amounted to bare 200 between us both, I persuaded you to bring your person for a venture in the Indies. Everything has succeeded in our voyage. I pass for your brother. One of the richest planters here happening to die just as we landed, I have claimed kindred with him. So without making his will, he has left us the credit of his relation to trade upon. We pass for his cousins, coming here to Surinam chiefly upon his invitation. We live in reputation, have the best acquaintance of the place, and we shall see our account in it, I warrant you.
I must rely upon you.
Enter Widow Lackett.
Master Weldon, your servant, Mistress Lucy. I am an ill visitor, but 'tis not too late, I hope, to bid you welcome to this side of the world.
Salutes Lucy.
Gad so, I beg your pardon, widow. I should have done the civilities of my house before, but, as you say, 'tis not too late, I hope.
Going to kiss her.
What? You think now this was a civil way of begging a kiss? And by my troth, if it were, I see no harm in it. 'Tis a pitiful favour indeed that is not worth asking for. Though I have known a woman speak plainer before now, and not understood neither.
Not under my roof. Have at you, widow.
Why, that's well said. Spoke like a younger brother. That deserves to have a widow. You're a younger brother, I know, by your kissing.
How so, pray?
Why, you kiss as if you expected to be paid for it. You have birdlime upon your lips. You stick so close, there's no getting rid of you.
I am akin to a younger brother.
So much the better. We widows are commonly the better for younger brothers.
Lucy, aside.
Better or worse, most of you. But you won't be much better for him, I can tell you.
I was a younger brother, but an uncle of my mother's has maliciously left me an estate, and, I'm afraid, spoiled my fortune.
No, an estate will never spoil your fortune. I have a good estate myself, thank heaven, and a kind husband that left it behind him.
Thank heaven that took him away from it, widow, and left you behind him.
Nay, heaven's will must be done. He's in a better place.
A better place for you, no doubt on it. Now you may look about you. Choose for yourself, Mistress Lackett. That's your business, for I know you design to marry again.
Oh dear, not I. I protest and swear. I don't design it. But I won't swear neither. One does not know what may happen to tempt one.
Why, a lusty young fellow may happen to tempt you.
Nay, I'll do nothing rashly. I'll resolve against nothing. The devil, they say, is very busy upon these occasions, especially with widows. But if I am to be tempted, it must be with a young man, I promise you. Mistress Lucy, your brother is a very pleasant gentleman. I came about business to him, but he turns everything into merriment.
Business, Mistress Lackett? Then I know you would have me to yourself. Pray leave us together, sister.
Exit Lucy. Charlotte, aside.
What am I drawing upon myself here?
You have taken a very pretty house here. Everything is so neat about you already. I hear you are laying out for a plantation.
Why, yes, truly, I like the country, and would buy a plantation if I could, reasonably.
Oh, by all means, reasonably.
If I could have one to my mind, I would think of settling among you.
Oh, you can't do better. Indeed, we can't pretend to have so good company for you, as you had in England, but we shall make very much of you. For my own part, I assure you, I shall think myself very happy to be more particularly known to you.
Dear Mistress Lackett, you do me too much honour.
Then, as to a plantation, Master Weldon, you know I have several to dispose of. Master Lackett, I thank him, has left me, though I say it, the richest widow upon the place. Therefore I may afford to use you better than other people can. You shall have one upon any reasonable terms.
That's a fair offer indeed.
You shall find me as easy as anybody you can have to do with, I assure you. Pray try me. I would have you try me, Master Weldon. Well, I like that name of yours exceedingly, Master Weldon.
My name?
Oh, exceedingly. If anything could persuade me to alter my own name, I verily believe nothing in the world would do it so soon as to be called Mistress Weldon.
Why, indeed, Weldon does sound something better than Lackett.
Oh, a great deal better. Not that there is so much in the name neither, but I don't know. There is something. I should like mightily to be called Mistress Weldon.
I'm glad you like my name.
Of all things. But then there's the misfortune. One can't change one's name without changing one's condition.
You'll hardly think it worth that, I believe.
Think it worth what, sir? Changing my condition? Indeed, sir, I think it worth everything. But alas, Master Weldon, I have been a widow but 6 weeks. 'Tis too soon to think of changing one's condition yet. Indeed it is. Pray don't desire it of me. Not but that you may persuade me to anything, sooner than any person in the world.
Who? I, Mistress Lackett?
Indeed you may, Master Weldon, sooner than any man living. Oh, Lord, there's a great deal in saving a decency. I never minded it before. Well, I'm glad you spoke first, excuse my modesty. But what? Modesty means nothing, and is the virtue of a girl that does not know what she would be at. A widow should be wiser. Now, I will own to you, but I won't confess neither, I have had a great respect for you a great while. I beg your pardon, sir, and I must declare to you, indeed I must, if you desire to dispose of all I have in the world, in an honourable way, which I don't pretend to be in any way deserving your consideration, my fortune and person, if you won't understand me without telling you so, are both at your service. Gad so! Another time.
Enter Stanmore.
So, Mistress Lackett, your widowhood's weaning apace. I see which way 'tis going. Weldon, you're a happy man. The women in their favours come home to you.
A fiddle of favour, Master Stanmore. I am a lone woman, you know it, left in a great deal of business, and business must be followed or lost. I have several stocks and plantations upon my hands, and other things to dispose of, which Master Weldon may have occasion for.
We were just upon the brink of a bargain as you came in.
Let me drive it on for you.
So you must, I believe, you or somebody for me.
I'll stand by you. I understand more of this business than you can pretend to.
I don't pretend to it. It is quite out of my way indeed.
If the widow gets you to herself, she will certainly be too hard for you. I know her of old. She has no conscience in a corner, a very Jew in a bargain, and would circumcise you to get more of you.
Is this true, widow?
Speak as you find, Master Weldon. I have offered you very fair. Think upon it, and let me hear of you. The sooner the better, Master Weldon.
Exit.
I assure you, my friend, she'll cheat you if she can.
I don't know that, but I can cheat her if I will.
Cheat her? How?
I can marry her, and then I'm sure I have it in my power to cheat her.
Can you marry her?
Yes, faith, so she says. Her pretty person and fortune, which one with the other you know are not contemptible, are both at my service.
Contemptible! Very considerable, egad! Very desirable! Why, she's worth £10,000, man, a clear estate. No charge upon it but a booby son. He indeed was to have half, but his father begot him, and she breeds him up, not to know or have more than she has a mind to, and she has a mind to something else, it seems.
Weldon, musing.
There's a great deal to be made of this.
A handsome fortune may be made on it, and I advise you to it by all means.
To marry her, an old wanton witch, I hate her.
No matter for that. Let her go to the devil for you. She'll cheat her son of a good estate for you. That's a prerequisite of a widow's portion always.
I have a design, and will follow her at least till I have a pennyworth of the plantation.
I speak as a friend when I advise you to marry her, for 'tis directly against the interest of my own family. My cousin Jack has belaboured her a good while that way.
What? Honest Jack? I'll not hinder him. I'll give over the thoughts of her.
He'll make nothing on it. She does not care for him. I'm glad you have her in your power.
I may be able to serve him.
Here's a ship come into the river. I was in hopes it had been from England.
From England?
No, I was disappointed. I long to see this handsome cousin of yours. The picture you gave me of her has charmed me.
You'll see whether it has flattered her or no in a little time. If she recovered of that illness that was the reason of her staying behind us, I know she will come with the first opportunity. We shall see her, or hear of her death.
We'll hope the best. The ships from England are expected every day.
What ship is this?
A rover, a buccaneer, a trader in slaves. That's the commodity we deal in, you know. If you have a curiosity to see our manner of marketing, I'll wait upon you.
We'll take my sister with us.
Exeunt. Scene 2. An open place. Enter Lieutenant Governor and Blandford.
There's no resisting your fortune, Blandford. You draw all the prizes.
I draw for our Lord Governor, you know. His fortune favours me.
I grudge him nothing this time, but if fortune had favoured me in the last sale, the fair slave had been mine. Clemene had been mine.
Are you still in love with her?
Every day more in love with her.
Enter Captain Driver, teased and pulled about by Widow Lackett and several planters. Enter at another door Weldon, Lucy, Stanmore, and Jack.
Here I have 6 slaves in my lot, and not a man among them, all women and children. What can I do with them, Captain? Pray consider, I am a woman myself, and can't get my own slaves, as some of my neighbours do.
I have all men in mine. Pray, Captain, let the men and women be mingled together for procreation's sake, and the good of the plantation.
Aye, a man and a woman, Captain, for the good of the plantation.
Let them mingle together and be damned. What care I? Would you have me pimp for the good of the plantation?
I am a constant customer, Captain.
I am always ready money to you, Captain.
For that matter, mistress, my money is as ready as yours.
Pray hear me, Captain.
Look you, I have done my part by you. I have brought the number of slaves you bargained for. If your lots have not pleased you, you must draw again among yourselves.
I am contented with my lot.
I am very well satisfied.
We'll have no drawing again.
Do you hear, mistress? You may hold your tongue. For my part, I expect my money.
Captain, nobody questions or scruples the payment. But I won't hold my tongue. 'Tis too much to pray and pay, too. One may speak for one's own, I hope.
Well, what would you say?
I say no more than I can make out.
Out with it, then.
I say, things have not been so fair carried as they might have been. How do I know how you have juggled together in my absence? You drew the lots before I came, I am sure.
That's your own fault, mistress. You might have come sooner.
Then here's a prince, as they say, among the slaves, and you set him down to go as a common man.
Have you a mind to try what a man he is? You'll find him no more than a common man at your business.
Sir, you're a scurvy fellow to talk at this rate to me. If my husband were alive, Gad's bodykins, you would not use me so.
Right, mistress. I would not use you at all.
Not use me? Your betters every interview, I would have you to know, would be glad to use me, sirrah. Marry, come up here. Who are you, I trow? You begin to think yourself a captain, forsooth, because we call you so. You forget yourself as fast as you can, but I remember you. I know you for a pitiful paltry fellow, as you are, an upstart to prosperity, one that is but just come acquainted with cleanliness, and that never saw 5 shillings of your own without deserving to be hanged for them.
Ha ha ha! She has given you a broadside, Captain. You'll stand up to her.
Hang her, stinkpot. I'll come no nearer.
By this good light, it would make a woman do a thing she never designed. Marry again, though she was sure to repent it, to be revenged of such a—
What's the matter, Mistress Lackett? Can I serve you?
No, you can't serve me. You are for serving yourself, I'm sure. Pray go about your business. I have none for you. You know I have told you so. Lord, how can you be so troublesome? Nay, so unconscionable, to think that every rich widow must throw herself away upon a young fellow that has nothing.
Jack, you are answered, I suppose.
I'll have another pluck at her.
Master Weldon, I am a little out of order, but pray bring your sister to dine with me. Gad's my life, I'm out of all patience with that pitiful fellow. My flesh rises at him. I can't stay in the place where he is.
Exit.
Captain, You have used the widow very familiarly.
This is my way. I have no design, and therefore am not over-civil. If she had ever a handsome daughter to wheedle her out of, or if I could make anything of her booby son.
Weldon, aside.
I may improve that hint, and make something of him.
She's very rich.
I'm rich myself. She has nothing that I want. I have no leaks to stop. Old women are fortune menders. I have made a good voyage, and would reap the fruits of my labor. We plough the deep, my masters, but our harvest is on shore. I'm for a young woman.
Look about, Captain. There's one ripe and ready for the sickle.
A woman, indeed. I will be acquainted with her. Who is she?
My sister, sir.
Would I were akin to her. If she were my sister, she should never go out of the family. What do you say, mistress? You expect I should marry you, I suppose?
Lucy, turning away.
I shan't be disappointed if you don't.
She won't break her heart, sir.
Captain Driver, following her.
But I mean...
And I mean...
Going between him and Lucy.
That you must not think of her without marrying.
I mean so, too.
Why, then, your meaning's out.
You're very short.
I will grow and be taller for you.
I shall grow angry and swear.
You'll catch no fish then.
I don't well know whether he designs to affront me or no.
No, no, he's a little familiar. 'Tis his way.
Say you so? Nay, I can be as familiar as he, if that be it. Well, sir, look upon me full. What say you? How do you like me for a brother-in-law?
Why, yes, faith, you'll do my business.
Turning him about.
If we can agree about my sisters.
I don't know whether your sister will like me or not. I can't say much to her. But I have money enough, and if you are her brother, as you seem to be akin to her, I know that will recommend me to you.
This is your market for slaves. My sister is a free woman, and must not be disposed of in public. You shall be welcome to my house, if you please, and upon better acquaintance, if my sister likes you, and I like your offers.
Very well, sir. I'll come and see her.
Where are the slaves, Captain? They are long a-coming.
And who is this prince that's fallen to my lot for the Lord Governor? Let me know something of him, that I may treat him accordingly. Who is he?
He's the devil of a fellow, I can tell you. A prince, every inch of him. You have paid dear enough for him, for all the good he'll do you. I was forced to clap him in irons, and did not think the ship safe, neither. You are in hostility with the Indians, they say. They threaten you daily. You had best have an eye upon him.
But who is he?
And how do you know him to be a prince?
He is son and heir to the great king of Angola, a mischievous monarch in those parts, who by his good will would never let any of his neighbors be in quiet. This son was his general, a plaguey fighting fellow. I have formerly had dealings with him for slaves, which he took prisoners, and have got pretty round by him. But the wars being at an end, and nothing more to be got by the trade of that country, I made bold to bring the prince along with me.
How could you do that?
What? Steal a prince out of his own country? Impossible!
'Twas hard indeed, but I did it. You must know this Oroonoko.
Is that his name?
Aye, Oroonoko.
Oroonoko.
Is naturally inquisitive about the men and manners of the white nations. Because I could give him some account of the other parts of the world, I grew very much into his favor. In return of so great an honor, you know I could do no less upon my coming away than invite him on board me. Never having been in a ship, he appointed his time, and I prepared my entertainment. He came the next evening as privately as he could, with about some 20 along with him. The punch went round, and as many of his attendants as would be dangerous I sent dead drunk on shore. The rest we secured. And so you have the Prince Oroonoko.
Gather mercy, Captain. There you were with him, I faith.
Such men as you are fit to be employed in public affairs. The plantation will thrive by you.
Industry should be encouraged.
There's nothing done without it, boys. I have made my fortune this way.
Unheard of villainy.
Barbarous treachery.
They applaud him for it.
But, Captain, methinks you have taken a great deal of pains for this Prince Oroonoko. Why did you part with him at the common rate of slaves?
Why, Lieutenant Governor, I'll tell you. I did design to carry him to England, to have showed him there, but I found him troublesome upon my hands, and I'm glad I'm rid of him. Oh ho, here they come.
Black slaves, men, women, and children pass across the stage by 2 and 2, Aboan and others of Oroonoko's attendants 2 and 2, Oroonoko last of all, in chains.
Are all these wretches slaves?
All sold, they and their posterity, all slaves.
Oh, miserable fortune.
Most of them know no better. They were born so and only changed their masters. But a prince, born only to command, betrayed and sold. My heart drops blood for him.
Now, Governor, here he comes. Pray observe him.
So, sir, you have kept your word with me.
I am a better Christian, I thank you, than to keep it with a heathen.
You are a Christian. Be a Christian still. If you have any God that teaches you to break your word, I need not curse you more. Let him cheat you, as you are false to me. You faithful followers of my better fortune, we have been fellow soldiers in the field.
Embracing his friends.
Now we are fellow slaves. This last farewell, be sure of one thing that will comfort us. Whatever world we next are thrown upon cannot be worse than this.
All slaves go off but Oroonoko.
You see what a bloody pagan he is, Governor, but I took care that none of his followers should be in the same lot with him, for fear they should undertake some desperate action to the danger of the colony.
Live still in fear. It is the villain's curse, and will revenge my chains. Fear even me, who have no power to hurt thee. Nature abhors and drives thee out from the society and commerce of mankind for breach of faith. Men live and prosper but in mutual trust, a confidence of one another's truth. That thou hast violated. I have done. I know my fortune, and submit to it.
Sir, I am sorry for your fortune, and would help it if I could.
Take off his chains. You know your condition, but you are fallen into honourable hands. You are the Lord Governor's slave, who will use you nobly. In his absence, it shall be my care to serve you.
Blandford applying to him.
I hear you, but I believe no more.
Captain, I'm afraid the world won't speak so honourably of this action of yours as you would have them.
I have the money. Let the world speak and be damned. I care not.
I would forget myself.
To Blandford.
Be satisfied. I am above the rank of common slaves. Let that content you. The Christian there that knows me, for his own sake will not discover more.
I have other matters to mind. You have him, and may much good do you with your prince.
Exit. The planters pulling and staring at Oroonoko.
What would you have there? You stare as if you never saw a man before. Stand further off.
Turns them away.
Let them stare on. I am unfortunate, but not ashamed of being so. No, let the guilty blush, the white man that betrayed me. Honest black disdains to change its colour. I am ready. Where must I go? Dispose me as you please. I am not well acquainted with my fortune, but must learn to know it better. So I know, you say, degrees make all things easy.
All things shall be easy.
Tear off this pomp, and let me know myself. The slavish habit best becomes me now. Hard fare, and whips, and chains may overpower the frailer flesh, and bow my body down. But there's another, nobler part of me out of your reach, which you can never tame.
You shall find nothing of this wretchedness you apprehend. We are not monsters all. You seem unwilling to disclose yourself. Therefore, for fear of the mentioning your name should give you new disquiets, I presume to call you Caesar.
I am myself, but call me what you please.
A very good name, Caesar.
And very fit for his great character.
Was Caesar then a slave?
I think he was. To pirates too. He was a great conqueror, but unfortunate in his friends.
His friends were Christians?
No.
No? That's strange.
And murdered by 'em.
I would be Caesar there, and yet I live.
Live to be happier.
Do what you will with me.
I'll wait upon you, attend, and serve you.
Exit with Oroonoko.
Well, if the captain had brought this prince's country along with him, and would make me queen of it, I would not have him, after doing so base a thing.
He's a man to thrive in the world, sister. He'll make you the better jointure.
Hang him! Nothing can prosper with him.
Enquire into the great estates, and you will find most of them depend on the same title of honesty. The men who raise them first are much of the captain's principles.
Ay, ay, as you say, let him be damned for the good of his family. Come, sister, we are invited to dinner.
Stanmore, you dine with me.
Exeunt. End of Act 1. Act 2 of Oroonoko by Thomas Southerne. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Scene 1. Widow Lackett's house. Enter Widow Lackett and Weldon.
This is so great a favour, I don't know how to receive it.
Oh dear, sir! You know how to receive and how to return a favour as well as anybody. I don't doubt it. 'Tis not the first you have had from our sex, I suppose.
But this is so unexpected.
Oh Lord, how can you say so, Master Weldon? I won't believe you. Don't I know you handsome gentlemen expect everything that a woman can do for you? And by my troth, you're in the right on it. I think one can't do too much for a handsome gentleman, and so you shall find it.
Weldon, pretending a concern.
I shall never have such an offer again, that's certain. What shall I do? I am mightily divided.
Divided? Oh dear, I hope not so, sir. If I marry, truly, I expect to have you to myself.
There's no danger of that, Mistress Lackett. I am divided in my thoughts. My father, upon his deathbed, obliged me to see my sister disposed of before I married myself. 'Tis that sticks upon me. They say, indeed, promises are to be broken or kept, and I know 'tis a foolish thing to be tied to a promise, but I can't help it. I don't know how to get rid of it.
Is that all?
All in all to me. The commands of a dying father, you know, ought to be obeyed.
And so they may.
Impossible to do me any good.
They shan't be in your hindrance. You would have a husband for your sister, you say. He must be very well to pass too in the world, I suppose.
I would not throw her away.
Then marry her out of hand to the sea captain you were speaking of.
I was thinking of him, but 'tis to no purpose. She hates him.
Does she hate him? Nay, 'tis no matter. And impudent rascal as he is, I would not advise her to marry him.
Can you think of nobody else?
Let me see.
Ay, pray do. I should be loath to part with my good fortune in you for so small a matter as a sister. But you find how it is with me.
Well remembered, in faith. Well, if I thought you would like of it, I have a husband for her. What do you think of my son?
You don't think of it yourself.
I protest, but I do. I am in earnest, if you are. He shall marry her within this half hour, if you'll give your consent to it.
I give my consent. I'll answer for my sister. She shall have him. You may be sure I shall be glad to get over the difficulty.
No more to be said, then. That difficulty is over. But I vow and swear you frightened me, Master Weldon. If I had not a son now for your sister, what must I have done, do you think? Were you not an ill-natured thing to boggle at a promise, I could break 20 for you.
I am the more obliged to you, but this son will save all.
He's in the house. I'll go and bring him myself.
Going.
You would do well to break the business to your sister. She's within. I'll send her to you.
Going again. Comes back.
Pray do.
But do you hear? Perhaps she may stand upon her maidenly behaviour, and blush, and play the fool, and delay. But don't be answered so. What? She's not a girl at these years. Show your authority, and tell her roundly she must be married immediately. I'll manage my son, I warrant you.
Goes out in haste.
The widow's in haste, I see. I thought I had laid a rub in the road about my sister, but she has stepped over that. She's making a way for herself as fast as she can, but little thinks where she is going. I could tell her she is going to play the fool, but people don't love to hear of their faults. Besides, that is not my business at present.
Enter Lucy.
So, sister, I have a husband for you.
With all my heart. I don't know what confinement marriage may be to the men, but I'm sure the women have no liberty without it. I am for anything that will deliver me from the care of a reputation which I begin to find impossible to preserve.
I'll ease you of that care. You must be married immediately.
The sooner the better, for I am quite tired of setting up for a husband. The widow's foolish son is the man, I suppose.
I considered your constitution, sister, and finding you would have occasion for a fool, I have provided accordingly.
I don't know what occasion I may have for a fool when I'm married, but I find none but fools have occasion to marry.
Since he is to be a fool, then, I thought it better for you to have one of his mother's making than your own. 'Twill save you the trouble.
I thank you. You take a great deal of pains for me. But pray tell me, what are you doing for yourself all this while?
You were never true to your own secrets, and therefore I won't trust you with mine. Only remember this, I am your elder sister, and consequently, laying my breeches aside, have as much occasion for a husband as you can have. I have a man in my eye. Be satisfied.
Enter Widow Lackett with her son Daniel.
Come, Daniel. Hold up thy head, child. Look like a man. You must not take it as you have done. Gad's my life! There's nothing to be done with twirling your hat, man.
Why, mother, what's to be done then?
Why, look me in the face, and mind what I say to you.
Marry, who's the fool then? What shall I get by minding what you say to me?
Mistress Lucy, the boy is bashful. Don't discourage him. Pray come a little forward, and let him salute to you.
Going between Lucy and Daniel. Lucy to Weldon.
A fine husband I am to have, truly.
Come, Daniel, you must be acquainted with this gentlewoman.
Nay, I'm not proud. That is not my fault. I am presently acquainted when I know the company. But this gentlewoman is a stranger to me.
She is your mistress. I have spoke a good word for you. Make her a bow, and go and kiss her.
Kiss her? Have a care what you say. I warrant she scorns your words. Such fine folk are not used to be slopped and kissed. Do you think I don't know that, mother?
Try her, man.
Daniel bows. She thrusts him forward.
Why, that's well done. Go nearer her.
Daniel to his mother.
Is the devil in the woman? Why, so I can go nearer her, if you would let a body alone.
To Lucy.
Cry you mercy, forsooth. My mother is always shaming one before company. She would have me as unmannerly as herself, and offer to kiss you.
Why won't you kiss her?
Why, pray, may I?
Kiss her, man.
marry, and I will. Gadzooks, she kisses rarely. And please you, mistress, and seeing my mother will have it so, I don't much care if I kiss you again, forsooth.
Well, how do you like me now?
Like you, marry, I don't know. You have bewitched me. I think I was never so in my born days before.
You must marry this fine woman, Daniel.
Hey day, marry her. I was never married in all my life. What must I do with her then, mother?
You must live with her, eat and drink with her, go to bed with her, and sleep with her.
Nay, Mary, if I must go to bed with her, I shall never sleep, that's certain. She'll break me of my rest, quite and clean, I tell you beforehand. As for eating and drinking with her, why, I have a good stomach, and can play my part in any company. But how do you think I can go to bed to a woman I don't know?
You shall know her better.
Say you so, sir?
Kiss her again.
Nay, kissing, I find, will make us presently acquainted. We'll steal into a corner to practice a little, and then I shall be able to do anything.
The young man mends apace.
Pray don't balk him.
Mother, mother, if you'll stay in the room by me, and promise not to leave me, I don't care for once if I ventured to go to bed with her.
There's a good child. Go in and put on thy best clothes. Pluck up a spirit. I'll stay in the room by thee. She won't hurt thee, I warrant thee.
Nay, as to that matter, I'm not afraid of her. I'll give her as good as she brings. I have a Roland for her, Oliver, and so you may tell her.
Exit.
Mistress Lucy, we shan't stay for you. You are in a readiness, I suppose.
She's always ready to do what I would have her. I must say that for my sister.
'Twill be our own another day. Master Weldon, we'll marry him out of hand, and then...
And then, Mistress Lackett, look to yourself.
Exeunt. Scene 2. Enter Oroonoko and Blandford.
You grant I have good reason to suspect all the professions that you can make to me.
Indeed you have.
The dog that sold me did profess as much as you can do. And yet I know not why, whether it is because I've fallen so low and have no more to fear. That is not it. I am a slave no longer than I please. 'Tis something nobler. Being just myself, I am inclining to think others so. 'Tis that prevails upon me to believe you.
You may believe me.
I do believe you. From what I know of you, you are no fool. Fools only are the knaves, and live by tricks. Wise men may thrive without them, and be honest.
Blandford, aside.
They won't all take your counsel.
You know my story, and you say you are a friend to my misfortunes. That's a name will teach you what you owe yourself and me.
I'll study to deserve to be a friend. When once our noble governor arrives, with him you will not need my interest. He is too generous not to feel your wrongs. But be assured I will employ my power, and find the means to send you home again.
I thank you, sir.
Sighing.
My honest, wretched friends, their chains are heavy. They have hardly found so kind a master. May I ask you, sir, what is become of them? Perhaps I should not. You will forgive a stranger?
I'll inquire, and use my best endeavours, where they are, to have them gently used.
Once more, I thank you. You offer every cordial that can keep my hopes alive, to wait a better day. What friendly care can do, you have applied. But oh, I have a grief admits no cure.
You do not know, sir.
Can you raise the dead, pursue and overtake the wings of time, and bring about again the hours, the days, the years that made me happy?
That is not to be done.
No, there is nothing to be done for me.
Kneeling and kissing the earth.
Thou God adored, thou ever glorious sun, if she be yet on earth, send me a beam of thy all-seeing power to light her to me. Or if thy sister goddess has preferred her beauty to the skies to be a star, oh, tell me where she shines, that I may stand whole nights and gaze upon her.
I am rude, and interrupt you.
I am troublesome, but pray give me your pardon. My swollen heart bursts out its passage, and I must complain. Oh, can you think of nothing dearer to me, dearer than liberty, my country, friends, much dearer than my life, that I have lost the tenderest, best beloved, and loving wife?
Alas, I pity you.
Do pity me. Pity's akin to love, and every thought of that soft kind is welcome to my soul. I would be pitied here.
I dare not ask more than you please to tell me, but think it convenient to let me know your story. I dare promise you to bear a part in your distress, if not assist you.
Thou honest-hearted man! I wanted such, just such a friend as thou art, that would sit still as the night, and let me talk whole days of my Imoinda. Oh, I'll tell thee all from first to last, and pray observe me well.
I will, most heedfully.
There was a stranger in my father's court, valued and honoured much. He was a white, the first I ever saw of your complexion. He changed his gods for ours, and so grew great. Of many virtues, and so famed in arms, he still commanded all my father's wars. I was bred under him. One fatal day, the armies joining, he before me stepped, receiving in his breast a poisoned dart levelled at me. He died within my arms. I've tired you already.
Pray go on.
He left an only daughter, whom he brought an infant to Angola. When I came back to the court, a happy conqueror, humanity obliged me to condole with this sad virgin for a father's loss, lost for my safety. I presented her with all the slaves of battle to atone her father's ghost. But when I saw her face and heard her speak, I offered up myself to be the sacrifice. She bowed and blushed. I wondered and adored. The sacred power that had subdued me, then inspired my tongue, inclined her heart, and all our talk was love.
Then you were happy.
Oh, I was too happy. I married her, and though my country's custom indulged the privilege of many wives, I swore myself never to know but her. She grew with child, and I grew happier still. Oh, my Imoinda! But it could not last. Her fatal beauty reached my father's ears. He sent for her to court, where, cursed court, no woman comes but for his amorous use. He raging to possess her, she was forced to own herself my wife. The furious king started an incest, but grown desperate, not daring to enjoy what he desired, in mad revenge, which I could never learn, he poisoned her, or sent her far, far off, far from my hopes ever to see her more.
Most barbarous of fathers, the sad tale struck me dumb with wonder.
I have done. I'll trouble you no farther. Now and then a sigh will have its way. That shall be all.
Enter Stanmore.
Blandford, the lieutenant governor is gone to your plantation. He desires you would bring the royal slave with you. The sight of his fair mistress, he says, is an entertainment for a prince. He would have his opinion of her.
Is he a lover?
So he says himself. He flatters the beautiful slave that I have, and calls her mistress.
Must he then flatter her to call her mistress? I pity the proud man who thinks himself above being in love. What, though she be a slave, she may deserve him.
You shall judge of that when you see her, sir.
I go with you.
Exeunt. Scene 3. A plantation. Lieutenant Governor following Imoinda.
I have disturbed you, I confess my fault. My fair Clemene, but begin again, and I will listen to your mournful song. sweet as the soft complaining nightingales, while every note calls out my trembling soul, and leaves me silent as the midnight groves, only to shelter you. Sing, sing again, and let me wonder at the many ways you have to ravish me.
Oh, I can weep enough for you and me, if that will please you.
You must not weep. I come to dry your tears and raise you from your sorrow. Look upon me. Look with the eyes of kind indulging love, that I may have full cause for what I say. I come to offer you your liberty, and be myself the slave. You turn away.
Following her.
But everything becomes you. I may take this pretty hand. I know your modesty would draw it back. But you would take it ill if I should let it go. I know you would. You shall be gently forced to please yourself. That you will thank me for.
She struggles and gets her hand from him. Then he offers to kiss her.
Nay, if you struggle with me, I must take...
You may. My life. That I can part with freely.
Exit. Enter Blandford, Stanmore, and Oroonoko.
So, Governor, we don't disturb you, I hope. Your mistress has left you. You were making love. She's thankful for the honour, I suppose.
Quite insensible to all I say, and do. When I speak to her, she sighs, or weeps, but never answers me as I would have her.
There's something nearer than her slavery that touches her.
What do her fellow slaves say of her? Can't they find the cause?
Some of them, who pretend to be wiser than the rest, and hate her, I suppose, for being used better than they are, will needs have it that she's with child.
Poor wretch. If it be so, I pity her. She's lost a husband that perhaps was dear to her, and then you cannot blame her.
Oroonoko, sighing.
If it be so, indeed you cannot blame her.
No, no, it is not so. If it be so, I still must love her, and desiring still, I must enjoy her.
Try what you do with fair means, and welcome.
I'll give you 10 slaves for her.
You know she is our Lord Governor's. But if I could dispose of her, I would not now, especially to you.
Why not to me?
I mean against her will. You are in love with her, and we all know what your desires would have. Love stops at nothing but possession. Were she within your power, you do not know how soon you would be tempted to forget the nature of the deed, and, maybe, act of violence you afterward repent.
'Tis godlike in you to protect the weak.
Fie, fie, I would not force her. Though she be a slave, her mind is free, and should consent.
Such honour will engage her to consent. And then, if you're in love, she's worth the having. Shall we not see this wonder?
Have a care. You have a heart, and she has conquering eyes.
I have a heart, but if it could be false to my first vows, ever to love again, these honest hands should tear it from my breast, and throw the traitor from me. Oh, Imoinda, living or dead, I can be only thine.
Blandford, to the Governor and Stanmore.
Imoinda was his wife. She's either dead, or living, dead to him, forced from his arms by an inhuman father. Another time I'll tell you all.
Hark! The slaves have done their work, and now begins their evening merriment.
The men are all in love with the fair Clemen as much as you are, and the women hate her from an instinct of natural jealousy. They sing and dance and try their little tricks to entertain her and divert her sadness. Maybe she is among 'em. Shall we see?
Exeunt. Scene 4. The slaves, men, women, and children, upon the ground. Some rise and dance, others sing the following songs.
Alas, there lives upon the green, could I her picture draw, a brighter nymph was never seen, that looks and reigns a little queen, and keeps the swains in awe. Her eyes are Cupid's darts and wings, her eyebrows are his bow, her silken hair the silver strings, which sure and swift destruction brings to all the vale below. If Pastorella's dawning light can warm and wound us so, her noon will shine so piercing bright, each glancing beam will kill outright, and every swain subdue. Bright Cynthia's power divinely great, what heart is not obeying? 1,000 Cupids on her wait, and in her eyes are playing. She seems the queen of love to reign, for she alone dispenses such sweets as best can entertain the gust of all the senses. Her face a charming prospect brings, her breath gives balmy blisses. I hear an angel when she sings, and taste of heavening kisses. For senses thus she feasts with joy from nature's richest treasure. Let me the other sense employ, and I shall die with pleasure.
During the entertainment, the governor, Blandford, Stanmore, Oroonoko enter as spectators. That ended, Captain Driver, Jack Stanmore, and several planters enter with their swords drawn. Drum beats, and a bell rings.
Where are you, Governor? Make what haste you can to save yourself and the whole colony. I bid them ring the bell.
What's the matter?
The Indians are come down upon us. They have plundered some of the plantations already, and are marching this way as fast as they can.
What can we do against them?
We shall be able to make a stand till more planters come into us.
There are a great many more without, if you would show yourself, and put us in order.
There's no danger of the white slaves. They'll not stir. Blandford and Stanmore, come you along with me. Some of you stay here to look after the black slaves.
All go out but the captain and 6 planters, who all at once seize Oroonoko.
Aye, aye, let us alone.
In the first place, we secure you, sir, as an enemy to the government.
Are you there, sir? You are my constant friend.
You will be able to do a great deal of mischief.
But we shall prevent you. Bring the irons hither. He has the malice of a slave in him, and would be glad to be cutting his master's throats. I know him. Chain his hands and feet, that he may not run over to him. If they have him, they shall carry him on their backs, that I can tell 'em.
As they are chaining him, Blandford enters, runs to them.
What are you doing there?
Securing the main chance. This is a bosom enemy.
Oh, away, you brutes! I'll answer with my life for his behaviour. So tell the governor.
Well, sir, so we will.
Exeunt captain and planters.
Give me a sword, and I'll deserve your trust.
A party of Indians enter, hurrying Imoinda among the slaves. Another party of Indians sustains them, retreating, followed at a distance by the governor with the planters. Blandford, Oroonoko join them.
Hell and the devil! They drive away our slaves before our faces. Governor, can you stand tamely by and suffer this? Commend, sir, your mistress is among them.
We throw ourselves away in the attempt to rescue 'em.
A lover cannot fall more glorious than in the cause of love. He that deserves his mistress's favour will not stand behind. I'll lead you on. Be bold, and follow me.
Oroonoko, at the head of the planters, falls upon the Indians with a great shout, and beats them off. Enter Imoinda.
I am tossed about by my tempestuous fate, and nowhere must have rest. Indians or English, whoever has me, I am still a slave. No matter whose I am, since I am no more my royal master's, since I'm his no more. Oh, I was happy, nay, I will be happy, in the dear thought that I am still his wife, though far divided from him.
Draws off to a corner of the stage. After a shout, enter the governor with Oroonoko, Blandford, Stanmore, and the planters.
Thou glorious man! Thou something greater sure than Caesar ever was. That single arm has saved us all. Accept our general thanks.
All bow to Oroonoko.
And what can we do more to recompense such noble services? You shall command. Clemene shall thank you too. She is safe. Look up and bless your brave deliverer.
Brings Clemene forward, looking down on the ground.
Bless me indeed.
You start.
Oh, all you gods who govern this great world and bring about things strange and unexpected, can it be?
What is't you stare at so?
Oroonoko, looking still fixed on her.
Answer me, some of you, you who have power and have your senses free, or are you all struck through with wonder too?
What would you know?
My soul steals from my body through my eyes. All that is left of life I'll gaze away, and die upon the pleasure.
This is strange.
If you but mock me with her image here, if she be not Imoinda.
She looks upon him and falls into a swoon. He runs to her.
Ah, she faints. Nay, then it must be she. It is Imoinda. My heart confesses her, and leaps for joy, to welcome her to her own empire here. I feel her all in every part of me. Oh, let me press her in my eager arms, wake her to life, and with this kindling kiss give back that soul she only lent me.
Kisses her.
I am amazed.
I am as much as you.
Imoinda, oh, thy Oroonoko calls.
Imoinda, coming to life.
My Oroonoko! Oh, I can't believe what any man can say. But if I am to be deceived, there's something in that name, that voice, that face.
Staring on him.
Oh, if I know myself, I cannot be mistaken.
Runs and embraces Oroonoko.
Never here. You cannot be mistaken. I am yours, your Oroonoko, all that you would have, your tender, loving husband.
All indeed that I would have, my husband. Then I am alive, and waking to the joys I feel. They were so great, I could not think them true. But I believe all that you say to me, for truth itself and everlasting love grows in this breast, and pleasure in these arms.
Take me all, inquire into my heart. You know the way to every secret there. My heart, the sacred treasury of love. And if, in absence, I have misemployed a mite from the rich store, if I have spent a wish, a sigh, but what I sent to you, may I be cursed to wish and sigh in vain, and you not pity me.
Oh, I believe, and know you by myself, if these sad eyes, since last we parted, have beheld the face of any comfort, or once wished to see the light of any other heaven but you, may I be struck this moment blind, and lose your blessed sight, never to find you more.
Imoinda! Oh, this separation has made you dearer, if it can be so, than you were ever to me. You appear like a kind star to my benighted steps, to guide me on my way to happiness. I cannot miss it now. Governor, friend, you think me mad, but let me bless you all, who, any way, have been the instruments of finding her again. Imoinda's found, and everything that I would have in her.
Embracing her with the most passionate fondness.
Where's your mistress now, Governor?
Why, where most men's mistresses are forced to be sometimes. With her husband, it seems.
Aside.
But I won't lose her so.
He has fought lustily for her, and deserves her, I'll say that for him.
Sir, we congratulate your happiness. I do most heartily.
And all of us. But how it comes to pass...
That will require more precious time than I can spare you now. I have 1,000 things to ask of her, and she as many more to know of me. But you have made me happier, I confess. Acknowledge it, much happier than I have words or power to tell you. Captain, you, even you, who most have wronged me, I forgive. I won't say you have betrayed me now. I'll think you but the minister of fate to bring me to my loved Imoinda here.
How shall I receive you? How be worthy of such endearments, all this tenderness? These are the transports of prosperity, when fortune smiles upon us.
Let the fools who follow fortune live upon her smiles. All our prosperity is placed in love. We have enough of that to make us happy. This little spot of earth you stand upon is more to me than the extended plains of my great father's kingdom. Here I reign in full delights, in joys to power unknown, your love my empire, and your heart my throne.
Exeunt. End of Act 2. Act 3 of Oroonoko by Thomas Southerne. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Scene 1. Enter Aboan with several slaves and Hotman.
What? To be slaves to cowards, slaves to rogues, who can't defend themselves?
Aboan, aside, to his own gang.
Who is this fellow? He talks as if he were acquainted with our design. Is he one of us?
Not yet, but he will be glad to make one, I believe.
He makes a mighty noise.
Go, sneak in corners, whisper out your griefs, for fear your masters hear you. Cringe and crouch under the bloody whip, like beaten curs that lick their wounds and know no other cure. All, wretches all, you feel their cruelty as much as I can feel, but dare not groan. For my part, while I have a life and tongue, I'll curse the authors of my slavery.
Have you been long a slave?
Yes, many years.
And do you only curse?
Curse? Only curse? I cannot conjure to raise the spirits of other men. I am but one. Oh, for a soul of fire, to warm and animate our common cause, and make a body of us. Then I would do something more than curse.
That body set on foot, you would be one, a limb to lend it motion.
I would be the heart of it, the head, the hand, and heart. Would I could see the day.
You will do all yourself.
I would do more than I shall speak, but I may find a time.
The time may come to you. Be ready for it. Methinks he talks too much. I'll know him more before I trust him further.
If he dares off what he says, he will be of use to us.
Enter Blandford.
If there be anyone among you here that did belong to Oroonoko, speak. I come to him.
I did belong to him. Aboon my name.
You are the man I want. Pray, come with me.
Exeunt. Scene 2. Enter Oroonoko and Imoinda.
I do not blame my father for his love, though that had been enough to ruin me. 'Twas nature's fault that made you like the sun, the reasonable worship of mankind. He could not help his adoration. Age had not locked his senses up so close, but he had eyes that opened to his soul, and took your beauties in. He felt your power, and therefore I forgive his loving you. But when I think upon his barbarity that could expose you to so many wrongs, driving you out to wretched slavery, only for being mine, then I confess I wish that I could forget the name of son, that I might curse the tyrant.
I will bless him, for I have found you here. Heaven only knows what is reserved for us. But if we guess the future by the past, our fortune must be wonderful, above the common size of good or ill. It must be in extremes, extremely happy or extremely wretched.
'Tis in our power to make it happy now.
But not to keep it so.
Enter Blandford and Aboan.
My royal lord, I have a present for you.
Aboan,
Your lowest slave.
my tried and valued friend. This worthy man always prevents my wants. I only wished, and he has brought thee to me. Thou art surprised? Carry thy duty there.
Aboan goes to Imawinda and falls at her feet.
While I acknowledge mine, how shall I thank you?
Believe me honest to your interest, and I am more than paid. I have secured that all your followers shall be gently used. This gentleman, your chiefest favourite, shall wait upon your person, while you stay among us.
I owe everything to you.
You must not think you are in slavery.
I do not find that I am.
Kind heaven has miraculously sent those comforts that may teach you to expect its farther care in your deliverance.
I sometimes think myself heaven is concerned for my deliverance.
It will be soon. You may expect it. Pray, in the meantime, appear as cheerful as you can among us. You have some enemies that represent you dangerous, and will be glad to find a reason, in your discontent, to fear. They watch your looks, but there are honest men who are your friends. You are secure in them.
I thank you for your caution.
I will leave you, and be assured, I wish you liberty.
Exit.
He speaks you very fair.
He means me fair.
If he should not, my lord.
If he should not, I'll not suspect his truth. But if I did, what shall I get by doubting?
You secure, not to be disappointed, but besides, there's this advantage in suspecting him. When you put off the hopes of other men, you will rely upon your godlike self, and then you may be sure of liberty.
Be sure of liberty? What dost thou mean, advising to rely upon myself? I think I may be sure on't. We must wait.
Turning to Imawinda.
'Tis worth a little patience.
Oh, my lord!
What dost thou drive at?
Sir, another time you would have found it sooner. But I see love has your heart, and takes up all your thoughts.
And canst thou blame me?
Sir, I must not blame you, but as our fortune stands, there is a passion. Your pardon, royal mistress, I must speak. That would become you better than your love. A brave resentment, which inspired by you, might kindle and diffuse a generous rage among the slaves to rouse and shake our chains, and struggle to be free.
How can we help ourselves?
I knew you when you would have found a way. How help ourselves? The very Indians teach us. We need but to attempt our liberty, and we may carry it. We have hands sufficient, double the number of our master's force, ready to be employed. What hinders us to set 'em then at work? We want but you to head our enterprise and bid us strike.
What would you do?
Cut our oppressors' throats.
And you would have me join in your design of murder?
It deserves a better name, but be it what it will, 'tis justified by self-defense and natural liberty.
I'll hear no more on't.
I'm sorry for it.
Nor shall you think of it.
Not think of it?
No, I command you not.
Remember, sir, you are a slave yourself, and to command is now another's right. Not think of it. Since the first moment they put on my chains, I've thought of nothing but the weight of 'em, and how to throw 'em off. Can yours sit easy?
I have a sense of my condition, as painful and as quick as yours can be. I feel for my Emelinda and myself, Emelinda much the tenderest part of me. But though I languish for my liberty, I would not buy it at the Christian price of black ingratitude. They shall not say that we deserved our fortune by our crimes. Murder the innocent!
The innocent?
These men are so, whom you would rise against. If we are slaves, they did not make us slaves, but bought us in an honest way of trade, as we have done before 'em, bought and sold many a wretch, and never thought it wrong. They paid our price for us, and we are now their property, a part of their estate, to manage as they please. Mistake me not, I do not tamely say that we should bear all they could lay upon us. But we find the load so light, so little to be felt, considering they have us in their power and may inflict what grievances they please, we ought not to complain.
My royal lord, you do not know the heavy grievances, the toils, the labours, weary drudgeries, which they impose, burdens more fit for beasts, for senseless beasts to bear than thinking men. Then if you saw the bloody cruelties they execute on every slight offence, nay, sometimes in their proud insulting sport, how worse than dogs they lash their fellow creatures, your heart would bleed for 'em. Oh, could you know how many wretches lift the hands and eyes to you for their relief!
I pity 'em, and wish I could with honesty do more.
You must do more, and may with honesty. O royal sir, remember who you are, a prince born for the good of other men, whose godlike office is to draw the sword against oppression and to set free mankind. And this I'm sure you think oppression now. What thought you have not felt these miseries, never believe you are obliged to them. They have their selfish reasons may be now for using of you well, but there will come a time when you must have your share of 'em.
You see how little cause I have to think so? Favoured in my own person, in my friends, indulged in all that can concern my care, in my Emelinda's soft society.
Embracing her.
And therefore would you lie contented down in the forgetfulness and arms of love to get young princes for 'em?
Sayest thou? Ha!
Princes, the heirs of empire, and the last of your illustrious lineage to be born, to pamper up their pride and be their slaves?
Emelinda, save me from that thought.
There is no safety from it. I have long suffered it with a mother's labouring pains, and can no longer. Kill me now while I am blessed, and happy in your love, rather than let me live to see you hate me, as you must hate me, the only cause, the fountain of these flowing miseries. Dry up this spring of life, this poisonous spring that swells so fast to overwhelm us all.
Shall the dear babe, the elder of my hopes, whom I begot a prince, be born a slave? The treasure of this temple was designed to enrich a kingdom's fortune. Shall it here be seized upon by vile, unhallowed hands to be employed in uses most profane?
In most unworthy uses. Think of that, and while you may prevent it, O my lord, rely on nothing that they say to you. They speak you fair, I know, and bid you wait. But think what 'tis to wait on promises, and promises of men who know no tie, upon their words against their interest. And where's their interest in freeing you?
Oh, where indeed, to lose so many slaves?
Nay, grant this man you think so much your friend be honest, and intends all he says. He is but one, and in a government where he confesses you have enemies that watch your looks. What looks can you put on to please these men who are before resolved to read them on their own way? Alas, my lord, if they incline to think you're dangerous, they have their knavish arts to make you so, and then who knows how far their cruelty may carry their revenge.
To everything that does belong to you, your friends and me, I shall be torn from you, forced away, helpless and miserable. Shall I live to see that day again?
That day shall never come.
I know you are persuaded to believe the governor's arrival will prevent these mischiefs and bestow you liberty, but who is sure of that? I rather fear more mischiefs from his coming. He is young, luxurious, passionate, and amorous, such a complexion, and made bold by power to countenance all he is prone to do, will know no bounds, no laws against his lusts. If, in a fit of his intemperance, with a strong hand, he should resolve to seize and force my royal mistress from your arms, how can you help yourself?
Ha! Thou hast roused the lion in his den. He stalks abroad, and the wild forest trembles at his roar. I find the danger now. My spirit starts the alarm, and from all quarters come to man my heart, the citadel of love. Is there a power on earth to force you from me, and shall I not resist it? Not strike first to keep, to save you, to prevent that curse? This is your cause, and shall it not prevail? Oh, you were born all ways to conquer me. Now I am fashioned to thy purpose. Speak, what combination, what conspiracy wouldst thou engage me in? I'll undertake all thou wouldst have me now for liberty, for the great cause of love and liberty.
Now, my great master, you appear yourself, and since we have you joined in our design, it cannot fail us. I have mustered up the choicest slaves, men who are sensible of their condition, and seem most resolved. They have their several parties.
Summon 'em. Assemble 'em. I will come forth and show myself among them. If they are resolved, I'll lead their foremost resolutions.
I have provided those will follow you.
With this reserve in our proceedings still, the means that lead us to our liberty must not be bloody.
You command in all. We shall expect you, sir.
You shall not long.
Exeunt Oroonoko and Imoinda at one door, Abawan at another. Scene 3. Weldon coming in before Mistress Lackett.
These unmannerly Indians were something unseasonable to disturb us just in the nick, Master Weldon. But I have the parson within call still, to do us the good turn.
We had best stay a little, I think, to see things settled again, had not we? Marriage is a serious thing, you know.
What do you talk of a serious thing, Master Weldon? I think you have found me sufficiently serious. I have married my son to your sister, to pleasure you, and now I come to claim your promise to me. You tell me marriage is a serious thing.
Why, is it not?
Fiddle-faddle, I know what it is. 'Tis not the first time I've been married, I hope. But I shall begin to think you don't design to do fairly by me, so I shall.
Why, indeed, Mistress Lackett, I'm afraid I can't do as fairly as I would by you. 'Tis what you must know, first or last, and I should be the worst man in the world to conceal it any longer. Therefore I must own to you that I am married already.
Married? You don't say so, I hope. How have you the conscience to tell me such a thing to my face? Have you abused me, then? Fooled and cheated me? What do you take me for, Master Weldon? Do you think I am to be served at this rate? But you shan't find me the silly creature you think me. I would have you to know I understand better things than to ruin my son without a valuable consideration. If I can't have you, I can keep my money. Your sister shan't have the catch of him she expected. I won't part with a shilling to them.
You made the match yourself, you know. You can't blame me.
Yes, yes, I can, and do blame you. You might have told me before you were married.
I would not have told you now, but you followed me so close, I was forced to it. Indeed, I am married in England, but 'tis as if I were not, for I have been parted from my wife a great while, and to do reason on both sides, we hate one another heartily. Now I did design, and will marry you still, if you'll have a little patience.
A likely business, truly.
I have a friend in England that I will write to poison my wife, and then I can marry you with a good conscience. If you love me as you say you do, you'll consent to that, I'm sure.
And will he do it, do you think?
At the first word, or he is not the man I take him to be.
Well, you are a daredevil, Master Weldon. And would you poison your wife for me?
I would do anything for you.
Well, I am mightily obliged to you. But 'twill be a great while before you can have an answer of your letter.
'Twill be a great while indeed.
In the meantime, Master Weldon.
Why, in the meantime, here's company. We'll settle that within. I'll follow you.
Exit Widow. Enter Stanmore.
So, sir, you carry your business swimmingly. You have stolen a wedding, I hear.
Ay, my sister is married, and I'm very near being run away with myself.
The widow will have you, then.
You come very seasonably to my rescue. Jack Stanmore is to be had, I hope.
At half an hour's warning.
I must advise with you.
Exeunt. Scene 4. The country. Enter Oroonoko with Aboan, Hopman, and slaves.
Impossible? Nothing's impossible. We know our strength only by being tried. If you object the mountains, rivers, woods unpassable that lie before our march, woods we can set on fire. We swim by nature. What can oppose us then, but we may tame? All things submit to virtuous industry. That we can carry with us, that is ours.
Great sir, we have attended all you said, with silent joy and admiration, and were we only men, would follow such, so great a leader through the untried world. But oh, consider we have other names, husbands and fathers, and have things more dear to us than life, our children, and our wives, unfit for such an expedition. What must become of them?
We would not wrong the virtue of our women, to believe there is a wife among them who would refuse to share her husband's fortune. What is hard we must make easy to 'em in our love. While we live and have our limbs, we can take care for them. Therefore I still propose to lead our march down to the sea and plant a colony, where, in our native innocence, we shall live free, and be able to defend ourselves, till stress of weather or some accident provide a ship for us.
An accident, the luckiest accident, presents itself. The very ship that brought and made us slaves swims in the river still. I see no cause but we may seize on that.
It shall be so. There is a justice in it pleases me.
To the slaves.
Do you agree to it?
We follow you.
Oroonoko to Hopman.
You do not relish it.
I'm afraid you'll find it difficult and dangerous.
Are you the man to find danger first? You should have given example. Dangerous. I thought you had not understood the word. You, who would be the head, the hand, and heart. Sir, I remember you. You can talk well. I will no doubt, but you'll maintain your word.
Oroonoko to Aboan.
This fellow is not right. I'll try him further.
To the slaves.
The danger will be certain to us all, and death most certain in miscarrying. We must expect no mercy if we fail. Therefore our way must be not to expect. We'll put it out of expectation, by death upon the place, or liberty. There is no mean, but death or liberty. There is no man here, I hope, but comes prepared for all that can befall him.
Death is all, in most conditions of humanity, to be desired, but to be shunned by none. The remedy of many, wish of some, and certain end of all. If there is one among us who can fear the face of death appearing like a friend, as in this cause of honor death must be, how will he tremble when he sees him dressed in the wild fury of our enemies, in all the terrors of their cruelty? For now, if we should fall into their hands, Could they invent 1,000 murdering ways? By racking torments we should feel them all.
What will become of us?
Oroonoko to Abawan concerning Hotman.
Observe him now.
To the slaves.
I could die altogether like a man, as you, and all of us may do. But who can promise for his bravery upon the rack, where fainting weary life, hunted through every limb, is forced to feel an agonizing death of all its parts? Who can bear this? Resolved to be impaled, his skin flayed off and roasted yet alive, the quivering flesh torn from his broken bones by burning pincers. Who can bear these pains?
Hotman, discovering all the confusion of fear.
They are not to be borne.
You see him now, this man of mighty words?
How his eyes roll.
He cannot hide his fear. I tried him this way, and have found him out.
I could not have believed it. Such a blaze, and not a spark of fire.
His violence made me suspect him first. Now I'm convinced.
What shall we do with him?
He is not fit.
Fit? Hang him. He's only fit to be just what he is. To live and die a slave, the base companion of his servile fears.
We are not safe with him.
Do you think so?
He'll certainly betray us.
That he shan't. I can take care of that. I have a way to take him off his evidence.
What way?
I'll stop his mouth before you stab him here, and then let him inform.
Going to stab Hotman. Oroonoko holds him.
Thou art not mad?
I would secure ourselves.
It shall not be this way. Nay, cannot be. His murder would alarm all the rest, make them suspect us of barbarity, and, may be, fall away from our design. We'll not set out in blood. We have, my friends, this night to furnish what we can provide for our security and just defence. If there be one among us we suspect of baseness or vile fear, it will become our common care to have our eyes on him. I will not name the man.
Abawan to Hotman.
You guess at him?
Tomorrow, early as the breaking day, we rendezvous behind the citron grove. That ship secured, we may transport ourselves to our respective homes. My father's kingdom shall open her wide arms to take you in and nurse you for her own, adopt you all who will follow me.
I'll follow you.
There I can give you all your liberty, bestow its blessings, and secure them yours. There you shall live with honor, as becomes my fellow sufferers and worthy friends. This if we do succeed. But if we fall in our attempt, 'tis nobler still to die than drag the galling yoke of slavery.
Exeunt. End of Act 3.